Hello, album enjoyers. Quick note to remind you of the Enjoy an Album Patreon page. For £5 a month, you get 2 extra episodes a week. They are ad-free. They are your fun, regular, normal episodes. Just me and Chris just fucking chatting and scatting about some of the best and worst albums of all time. Or you also get the access to the back catalogue of Patreon posts we've already done. Robbie Williams.
Iron Maiden.
Lin-Manuel
Miranda's Hamilton.
That was a good one. We've recently done Janelle Monáe.
Ed Sheeran, Janelle Monáe.
Ed Sheeran. Oh, the Raytons. Yes, there's been some really good episodes on there, so worth it. If you've run out of pods.
It's not like extra stuff. It's not like some podcasts are like, oh, hey, we recorded a wee bit extra. This isn't like the fucking Trimmings, man.
No, this is your gourmet album enjoyer experience.
This is an extra meal.
Absolutely. And you might be like, I don't want an extra meal. I'm full. Well, this is a better one that you won't be more full of. So how about that?
That is what we offer.
You also get early access to live shows, which is probably one of the biggest sells. So sign up to Patreon now at patreon.com/enjoy an album.
Before we discuss King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard's new album, PetroDragonic Apocalypse, or Dawn of Eternal Night, and Annihilation of Planet Earth, and the Beginning of Merciless Damnation.
No, don't need to say the whole thing.
We need to do the intro.
Yes, welcome to the Enjoy an Album podcast with Liam Winnell, Christopher MacArthur Boyd, the two realist motherfuckers in the Monkey Barrel studio.
King Album and the Album, as they call it.
Chris MacArthur and Babatha Dadartha. We have some exciting news. Our live show at the Edinburgh Festival is now on sale officially.
That's right.
To everybody. Johnny Public. Not just the Patreon ultras.
Not just the Patreon people.
Not just the people we respect, but also
no, that's not
you
how
other
it is.
Bottom feeders.
No, it's not. Listen,
you freeloaders.
Some people aren't in a position where they can afford that.
Some people should put something up the bum.
Wow, real bootstrap storyism coming from Liam here. I respect every one of our listeners, regardless of whether they support us financially or not.
We're going to do a live show. It's going to be a lot of fun. We did one last year.
I have an idea for the album, and we shouldn't talk about it right now.
Okay, that's
what
fine.
do you think about?
Okay, we'll just say it.
Evanescence.
Oh, it's good. It's good.
Wake me, and we get the shots back.
Wake me up inside.
I can't wake up.
Can't wake up inside.
Save me.
Save me from
nothing I've become.
Wow.
How would you like to see that live?
Yes. Okay. Do you want to wear the fire shirts again?
Yeah.
Or
I've still got mine. Not washed it since.
Yeah.
It's been a year.
Yeah, okay, we could wear the fire shirts. We could mix it up a bit and try and wear something else. I don't know, we could dress as we could do Beastie Boys, dress as like the Beastie Boys or something.
I'm going to dye my hair blonde and put it in little spikes. And I'm going to pierce my nose. And I'm going to chop my dick off. Is that for a little costume?
Chop your dick off?
Yeah. Just chop it right off. I'm fed up.
So we may be doing Evanescence. We might have a live guest though as well. We might bring back a fave guest.
Let's get the lead singer of Evanescence on.
Yes, Amy Lee.
Amy Lee's going to come on.
Or we may also...
Bobby Lee, the podcaster.
We might have a guest. We might also just not have a guest we've had on already and just try and find someone famous. No, not interested. No, fuck.
Don't like famous people.
Don't like them.
Spit in their face. Like
people with profile?
Yeah.
Selling tickets?
Yeah.
For our show?
Well, you don't want to go, oh, we've got fucking Nish Kumar showing up to talk about Coldplay. And then, no offense to the boy, and then...
Nish Kumar's got really good taste in music.
Of course he does, yeah. But you don't want him showing up and then a bunch of Nish Kumar fans show up with their niche humour. And then they're like, what's Tattoo Woohoo, what's Tattoo Boo?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
That's
You
true.
want to have like Roscoe come in and talk about Meatloaf.
Yes. Which
Evanescence.
It might be that.
It might be that. But it's probably going to be Evanescence. Anyway, it's on sale. We shouldn't be discussing what's going to happen at it.
No, I think we should. I think people will enjoy the background information about it.
I don't know how people enjoy any aspect of this, but they bloody do.
The listeners keep going up. So it's Monday the 14th of August at 5 to 10 in the evening. Prime slot.
Sweet spot we all want.
The Monday night, 5 to 10?
Everybody looks at the... I mean, most shows take that night off because it sells so poorly.
No. It's the middle of the run. So that's people don't take it off because it sells so poorly. They take it off to have a break. And then if you're smart, that's when you put on an extra show. And then there's people looking for shows. Everyone's having their break. They're like, oh, I can't go see Frank Skinner today. He's having a fucking break. I can't see Giles Brandwith. What can I see? Liam Winnell and Christopher MacArthur Boyd are interviewing Roscoe about fucking Meatloaf. 10 tickets, please.
Trying to get that Giles Brandreth.
Trying to get her fucking Giles Brandreth.
I want people going, what happened to Barry Cryer? I can't see him in the chat. I can't see him in the boot. I'll go see him join an album, you know.
We're gonna
Shout out to Barry Cryer.
We're going to do a meet and greet after. I haven't told you this bit. We're going to do a meet and greet. We're going to sit on a little stool and we're going to shake every single one of your hands. Chris is going to kiss each one of you on the hand.
I'm not going to kiss anybody.
On the butt.
What's my partner's there?
I don't think she will be there. Do you think she will?
No.
She
doesn't like this podcast.
I forgot she has taste.
Yeah.
She'll be at Giles Brandreth.
Yeah, she's a big Randreth head.
So get
Full
on...
disclosure, don't know who that is.
You don't know who Giles Brandreth is?
Is he the guy who does the impressions?
No.
Fuck.
I don't know who... I mean, that could be many people. He's just like...
Alistair McGowan.
He's like a television personality who's been around for years on the one show.
He's like
that sort of thing.
Greg Wallace.
It kind of occupies fairly similar space, I guess, but no, he's more old. He's more like Nicholas Parsons energy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just a mad old posh cunt.
Get him on.
Do you know what? We should try and get Giles Brandreth.
I'll get my people to talk to his people.
Okay.
All right.
Wish I had people. Don't have anybody. Right. So tickets are £10. It's a good show. We'll do a meet and greet after. Chris will kiss your cock. Or your vajouge. Pictures, etc. after. Signed titties. I will sign Chris's titties. It's what I mean by that. It's gonna be a lot of fun. Also, tickets to our individual shows are on sale.
When's your show again?
7:10 every night. Yours is 20:00.
How did we do it? Such a clash.
I know.
There's an overlap of 55 minutes.
Yes. So you can see the first 5 minutes of my show.
How did we get these spots? I don't understand.
Go see the
How
first.
did we both accept those spots without we talk to each other all the time?
It's the first. We talk over each other all the time is the problem, so we don't hear what the other person has to say. Right. You can see the first 5 minutes of my show and the second 55 minutes of Chris's show. Neither will make sense. It might be some sort of the Exquisite Corpse.
Yeah, I know the Exquisite Corpse.
The sort of the Dardarists.
My fucking soul is an Exquisite Corpse when I find out that we're doing shows.
You ever played that game? You draw like a head. I'm explaining to the listener, not you. Okay, you draw like a head and then you fold it over so that the next person draws the torso and then folds it over and then you pull it out and then you see like a mismatched body parts. It's like a surreal exercise in art, and that is what mine and Chris's fringe shows are. I think it's a fair thing to say.
It's more like someone drew up the hair of something and then I drew the full body afterwards and went,
like
look, he's got a different funny haircut.
It's like a Twitter account that's politicians' hair on footballers' bodies.
I haven't seen that.
It's cool, man.
Sounds good.
Anyway, this episode is, I'll be frank, a bit of a mess. We had a technical issue halfway through. Chris has been on the train for 6 hours. It's King Gizzard and a Wizard Lizard though, so fucking rips. We have good fun. We do some impressions of Australians for quite a large amount of time. Mm-hmm. I forgot to tell you, my wife went to see this band at the Corner Hotel. Do you remember there?
Yeah.
Why do we know the Corner Hotel?
That's where Jack White of the White Stripes wrote the song Seven Nation Army riff backstage.
Absolutely. Very cool. Very little bit of cool musical history. So we do know some stuff before you all fucking start tweeting us.
We know stuff we've already said before.
Yes.
Tell you that much.
Enjoy the app and we will catch you on the flip. Bye.
This week we are sponsored by Manscaped.
They are the long-term Enjoy an Album sponsor. They provide the best pubic hair trimming services.
Surely
not
that
services.
isn't what you usually say. The best of below the belt maintenance.
They actually avoid the word pubic, I think, because it's a bit gross. Whereas I'm wanting to bring it back and say, hey, there's nothing to be ashamed of. Look, you need to shave your pubes.
Let's bring pubes back.
Yeah.
But in reverse.
Yeah, let's bring the word pubes back, but let's shave pubes away using Manscaped product like the lawnmower.
Yeah.
Lawnmower 2.0, I believe we're on now. It's got a little light. It's chargeable with a USB-C, same as your phone. It works in the shower. It's very quick to have a whip around downstairs to make you look nice and good.
Your genitals are going to go from a 6.5. They're going to go from
inches. We can't say the Manscaped will give you a bigger dick, but we are inferring
But
it.
it looks like it.
Yeah, it does look like it. That's the whole point.
It's crazy.
It's wild, actually. You have a shave, you look up, you're like...
trees don't look bigger in winter than in autumn. But...
The Earth looks bigger, I think. I don't know if that's how it works. So we are sponsored by Manscaped. We have a code. If you follow the link and type in album20, you'll get 20% off, okay? So do that. Get your balls looking good for whoever wants to look at them, including yourselves.
Balls, cock, arsehole, nose, ear, cock. Check it out. Trim it hard.
Enjoy the episode.
You're listening to Enjoy an Album, the podcast where two comedians listen to some of the greatest albums of all time.
Australia's most dependable shapeshifters slip into full-bodied thrash on their 24th album. It's King Gizzard's second proper foray into the propulsive metal subgenre after 2019's Infest the Rat's Nest. And once again, dire themes of environmental collapse rise to the fore. It's pretty good. Do you want to... It goes on a bit, but do you want another sentence?
Give me one more sentence of that.
That imagery is even stronger here, with Godzilla-style creatures wreaking havoc in the lyrics.
Good
stuff. Wreaking havoc in the lyrics.
Great blurbs.
The Apple Blurb Smiths have been working hard in the blurb mines.
I don't know if it made the edit, but that was the second attempt at a blurb.
Yeah.
First attempt at a blurb was Liam reading the second paragraph of Pitchfork's review. And what number did they give them? I believe it's a 6.7.
It's a 5.4.
5.4.
Yeah.
We'll get to that.
Wow. So this week it's King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard with their album PetroDragonic Apocalypse, or...
Can I do it?
Yes.
No,
you can't. No. Dawn of Eternal Night, an Annihilation of Planet Earth, and the Beginning of Merciless Damnation.
PetroDragonic Apocalypse, semicolon, or Dawn of Eternal Night, colon, an Annihilation of Planet Earth and the Beginning of Merciless Damnation.
An Annihilation of Planet Earth and the Beginning of Merciless Damnation sounds like the name of a Dark Souls song, doesn't it?
Yeah.
An Annihilation of Planet Earth and the Beginning of Merciless Damnation.
I think my only issue with that is that I don't believe that they would refer to their world as Earth. I think they would call it Lordran or the realms between or something like that.
Yeah, okay, no, you've got you've got me on that one.
The Hunter's Realm.
Greater Yarnum. So it's King Gizzard.
And the Lizard Wizard.
And Lizard Wizard.
When was the first time you ever heard that King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard?
Can I just say, exciting day on the pod, because this is the first ever Australian artist we've covered.
No.
I think it is.
How could it be?
I know, right?
We have had heavily Australian lives.
I know. We've both lived in Australia.
You've had an Australian wife. And continue to have one.
I have an Australian wife, yes. This is not how we're announcing my divorce. No. That would be weird. We're finally covering an Australian band.
I will have an Australian wife, maybe.
Maybe is doing a lot of lifting in that sentence.
Why? I'm in a long-term relationship with an Australian person.
Yeah, but you haven't proposed.
No.
Yeah, so I was unsure of where that was going until you added maybe to the end. I thought you were announcing something.
In Australia, they have something called a de facto
Imagine
marriage.
if on this pod we simultaneously announced my divorce and your marriage. Unrelated.
How long's it been since the Foo Fighters episode?
Different women, to be clear. That's not why we're getting divorced, he's getting married.
Yeah. But we just, the Patreon's there, so we need to keep doing it.
So we haven't had any bloody Aussies on the bloody show, mate.
You got any favourite? You love Nick Cave, you love Courtney Barnett.
That's right.
You know?
Yeah.
Camp Cope. A lot of great Australian artists.
Yeah, and I am a fan of many of them, including KG and the LW.
And the LW, yeah.
KG and the Sunshine Band. I've just opened my notes, and I did have a good bio already done.
Let's hear it.
So hang on, we should. I fucked up the bio, and then we read the Apple Music bio,
which was great.
We're gonna do another bio. You want to hear it?
Yeah.
Even by King Gizzard's now far-reaching and experimental standards, PetroDragonic Apocalypse is batshit crazy. Ash, soot, oil, lava, tectonic fissures, and more allusions to actual lizard than a band named after a magical lizard have ever used before all wait for you on the Aussie group's brand new Mad Max Fury Road Simulator.
Wow, who's that from?
I can't remember. Stereo Gum, maybe.
Oh, God.
Mad Max Fury Road Simulator. Also a fucking heavy Australian movie.
Yeah.
Love that film.
When was the first time you ever heard the King Gizzard and Lizard Wizard?
So I think it would be maybe Find My Partner, but also maybe they're like Big Six Music guys as well.
Oh, are they?
Yeah, they get played on there.
I need to start listening to the radio station because I was saying to you the other day, I was like, oh, you ever heard of The Comet is Coming? And you were like, yeah, I've heard them all the time.
Yeah, they're Big Six Music
What
guys.
show is it that plays like, you know?
Well, all of them.
Really?
I mean, no, like Craig Charles' Funk and Soul show probably wouldn't fuck with this.
No.
But like the morning shows, so Lauren Laverne and Marianne Hobbs.
They play King Gizzard and...
Hell yeah, they play everything.
Oh, yeah.
Everything fucking cool.
Wow.
So I remember I heard King Gizzard and the Wizard Lizard with their song Rattlesnake, Rattlesnake,
Yeah.
Rattlesnake, Rattlesnake.
Yeah.
It's called Rattlesnake.
I remember that. I think that was the first one I heard, and then I heard Gamma Knife.
Yes.
Gamma Knife. And I was like, this is great.
They've got Master of the Universe as well. I remember listening to that, and that's very cool.
Murder of the Universe?
Yes.
Yeah. Master of the Universe is the He-Man franchise.
That's what I've been listening to. That's going to really fuck with this episode because I've been watching He-Man episodes.
Been rimming Skeletor's bunny bum cheeks. I should have been...
Oh, my bunny bum cheeks.
Are you a Giz head?
You know, I like them. Mm-hmm. If I was at a festival and I saw they were playing, I would be there.
Beeline.
For
the stage, I mean.
I think I've only once or twice in my life opened up Spotify and put on King Gizzard and the Wizard Lizard.
Really?
Well, Rattlesnake is on my running playlist, but I don't think I've ever really. I haven't done a deep dive deeper than a deep pan pizza at the bottom of the deep ocean, deeper than the fucking submarine with all the dead billionaires. I haven't gone that deep.
That was it.
And it's interesting because I sent you an infographic that I found on the King Gizzard and the Wizard Lizard.
You got it here?
No, I don't have it, but we're just going to talk about it anyway. I found it on reddit.com.
Reddit.com, one of my favorite websites.
And it's a flowchart of an introduction to King Gizzard and the Wizard Lizard. Mm-hmm. You start off with a certain album, and then based on how much you enjoyed the album, it tells you which album you should go to next.
Yeah. Always start here is what it says. Yeah. And that album is I'm in Your Mind Fuzz. And then it's like, oh, I like the mellower stuff. You shift over to, hey, Quarters, which is like a 4-part record. Or I liked basically everything, but especially the groove-based stuff. That means you go over to Omnium Gatherum.
Yeah, so it's a really, like, actually, we should probably post this when we're under the Twitter.
Yeah.
Because I think this is something really cool that someone has done.
Here's what happened with me.
Right.
The third option. Those little glimpses of heaviness go hard. Give me more of that. And then there's a sub category which is, all right, you're pretty well catered for then. What would you like? I want thrash, make me headbang, which leads you to my first King Gizzard record, which was Infest the Rat's Nest.
So that's interesting. That was your first one that you've listened to, because obviously that was a bit of a departure from the type of stuff that they've done, and that was what referenced a bit in the bio as well, that this is their second sort of thrash metal album.
Well, you know I'm a big thrasher.
I've got a quote about that actually from Stu McKenzie, who
is in the band, we should say, and not an open spot from Kirkcaldy.
Hi, my name's Stu McKenzie. I know what you're thinking. Who's his mom?
Robin Hood and Eamon Holmes had a love child. I guess you'd end up with somebody who was a wee bit like me.
Anyway, I was in Glasgow recently, and Ned went whore,
and they didn't like me.
So I don't have the quote. Oh, in fact,
what do you mean you don't have the quote, Mr. McKenzie? Listen, here's the issue. You might be noticing that Liam doesn't have his trademark iPad that I hate.
Why do you hate the iPad?
Because you're always looking at it instead of looking at me.
The iPad is
now you're looking at your bloody phone, which is worse.
Currently missing.
Is it smaller? So you're like, well, I don't know what that says. Why don't you just have a conversation and look at my book if you need help?
So you're still fucking reeling from how Josh Pugh made fun of you reading from your notes, okay? So I can remember roughly what he said. It was words to the effect of, we were always too scared to sort of do a thrash metal album, and then we made it with Infest the Rat's Nest, and it was so much fun to write, perform live.
Yeah.
Like, they were like, we should have been doing this the whole time. So they went away, did a few different albums, but they were always like, we're going to come back and do it again because it's the most fun we've had making a record.
Yeah. So I heard Rattlesnake and I heard Gamma Knife. But then some of it was while they were doing the kind of microtonal banana stuff, and microtonal music is like, on a guitar's neck, it's like this note, this note, this note, this note. It's like, those aren't every note. There's spaces in between those notes, and they were doing a lot of music that was like the notes in between notes, and that was I like weird stuff, but that was a wee bit too much for me. Then I heard they came out with a metal record, and I was like, I love kind of weird metal, so I was on board, and I liked it. The concept of Infest a Rat's Nest was nothing to do with rats, really. It was about what if planet Earth died, but all the rich people went to Mars and kind of terraformed Mars, and then the Earth was a prison colony.
We need to go to Mars.
It's very similar to Total Recall, which I believe you referenced.
Yeah. Three titties, one lady, what a movie.
There's other bits, but yeah, that's it.
I don't think so. I think that's the whole film. I think it's just a lady with 3 titties for 2 hours and him going, we need to go to Mars.
So that was, it was great. There is no Planet B, like Plan B, but it's Planet B. Really good stuff.
It's just a slogan you sort of seen on middle class kids at climate protests.
Why?
You've literally seen that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's like a...
Maybe they're just big kids' heads.
Maybe.
What do you think the plot is to this record? PetroDragonic Apocalypse,
we're getting ahead of ourselves.
Dawn of Eternal Night, and Annihilation of Planet Earth, and the Beginning of Merciless Damnation.
We are getting way ahead of ourselves, Christopher. Come on. We don't talk about the album until the last 5 minutes of the podcast, generally. Come on. We've got other stuff to talk about before we get there. We need to get through some muckraking and get into the deeper down and dirty.
I don't want to even find out.
Well, I'm going to tell you. But you have to do a noise in the style of King Gizzard and the Wizard Lizard.
Secret part show. Secret part show. Secret part show.
Secret part show. They're Australian, so no.
There's no posh Australian people?
There are.
Nick Cave, surely.
I don't know actually, but they were all posh Australians.
It's quite nice. It's quite unusual. I love the women in Kath and Kim. I know that's a bit of a left turn for this conversation, but do you know the 2 women in Kath and Kim who work in the kind of furniture shop?
I haven't seen the show. It's one of Lauren's favourites.
Wow, let's make like that.
Yeah.
Kath and Kim come in and they kind of talk down to them. They go, it's quite a nice place to birth.
Yeah.
Speak like that. Really good. One of the best sitcoms of all time.
So Stu Mackenzie's basically he's King Gizzard, right? He's the main dude.
No, is it really that way?
Pretty much.
I thought it was like a real, okay, we're putting out 24 albums. You have an album. You have an album. You have an album.
There are a large collaborative group for sure, but he is the driving force.
Right.
Without him, that doesn't happen.
Okay.
I think the other people could be swapped in and out a bit.
Wow.
I don't think he would probably agree with that himself, but he is Mr. King Gizzard.
Yeah.
I listened to an interview with him. There's a podcast called 101 Jobs I Had or something.
101 Jobs I Had.
And he interviews musicians about the different jobs they did whilst they were, coming up as a band. And he was a guitar teacher, was how he would make his money. He's a really good interview, actually. It's really interesting. And so I got the sense that he was not a secret posho because he was talking a lot about how hard it was to make rent and how he was like trying to balance teaching these kids guitar whilst also touring with a band. And then eventually he had to stop teaching the kids guitar because the band was touring, but he was making less money from the band touring. So he had to have like a demotion to become like an actual touring musician. He mentioned where he's from, an area that I know very well called Geelong.
The Geelong Cats.
The Geelong Cats, the AFL team.
What's their song again?
We are Geelong, the greatest team of all. We are Geelong, we're always on the ball. We play
the game.
No, you don't know it, so sing along. You're still doing it. Oh. We play the game as it should be played, at home or away.
Did I tell you I met a girl for Geelong?
Really?
And Great Western Road, and I started singing that song, and she was like, have you been to Geelong? I was like, no. She was really freaked out by that and my appearance.
So he also said he was couch surfing for 7 years, which is a long time to not have a house.
Fits in with the band though.
100%. They are basically just total fucking Melbourne hipster kids. And he said his parents were like these hippies. They lived on a farm in an area outside Geelong called Winchelsea. And I had a little Google of Winchelsea farms, but couldn't really find anything solid. There was a Winchelsea ostrich farm and a Winchelsea alpaca farm.
Oh.
But I don't know if it was either of those. I read some of the reviews of them. Fantastic.
Why did you read the reviews of the farms?
Listen, I just go on these little wormholes.
You go on these wormholes, man.
Man, the people reviewing Winchelsea ostrich farm.
Is this an unhinged?
No, it's not. I'm not even going to read it because it's just a general point about the people who review ostrich farms on the internet. They're the most satisfied customers I've ever. Oh, it's literally like Jerry and Toby have done such an amazing job with these beautiful birds.
They're plump.
Some of the happiest ostriches I've ever seen.
Sometimes you go to different ostrich farms, and my God, these bloody birds. There's not a bit of meat in the bones. There's no light in their eyes. You put your face up to the cage, they don't try to peck you. They got no life.
These two know what they're doing when it comes to ostriches, and I won't hear otherwise.
It's a mostly seed-based diet, as you can tell from the...
He moved around. He lived in Wangaratta, which is 3 hours from Melbourne. This is like a thing that is common in Australia as well. People are like, I'm from Melbourne. And you're like, whereabouts? And they're like, oh, it's 3 hours from Melbourne. And it's like, in the UK, that would be 4 cities away.
Country.
Yeah.
I was in Newcastle 3 hours ago. You know what I mean?
And he also lived in Anglesey, where I've been.
Oh, yeah?
It's on the Great Ocean Road, which is different to Great Western Road.
Yeah.
If you sang the Geelong Cats song on the Great Ocean Road, people would be far more understanding. Mm-hmm. Like, oh, that's only up the road.
Okay.
Yeah, we do. You know, the Great Ocean Road is the drive between Melbourne and Adelaide.
Yeah.
So we did a portion of that, and we went to Anglesey. So it's like a surf town.
Yeah.
So it's just like your typical surfing Australian ostrich farm owning hipsters. Ostrich farm TBC.
You think they have? I think they would have more songs about ostriches.
Do you not think ostriches are related to the lizard?
King Bostrich and the ostrich mostrich is what they would be called.
So they've had 24 albums since I think 2010.
Yeah.
That's fucking mental.
Yeah.
They did 5 albums in 1 year at one point.
Here's why I think they have had. And listen, I just before we get into the record, I just want to say, very fond of this record. Mm-hmm. Very fond of even the albums I've listened to these guys that I haven't liked. I just like the vibe. I'm not a total Gizzard.
They kind of... Sorry, go ahead.
It's just... There's always a cynical part of me. You know, I'm always looking at people and wondering...
You've got a dark heart. You're cursed.
I'm a cursed boy.
Yeah.
As Harry Potter was once described
by
the musical theatre community. I am the boy who lived to be cursed.
I'm the boy who lived, laughed, loved.
I always kind of see that, you know, I think they have been given such a push by the music industry, by music journalism and stuff like this, because we are living in a world where rock music is kind of a way to sell vinyl records. And, you know, most of that industry is based on like classic bands like, hey, listen to Fleetwood Mac, and then they've got 25 records to buy. Listen to Led Zeppelin, they've got 10 records to buy. And these guys, it's like, oh, there's a new band, but you can buy 24 vinyls for 40 quid each.
So you think it's like almost like a sort of Marvel, like cinema thing?
I'm not comparing it to Marvel.
No, but you understand that it's like, or Star Wars or whatever, in that if you like something, you can just like this one thing, and there is enough of it for you to just like that and just continually feed into this one.
That's not really what I mean. I just mean it's like, you know, if you want to get into an old band, they've got 20 vinyls. And if you want to get into this new band, they've got 20 vinyls as well.
Yeah.
So it's like, if you want to be obsessive about something, but I also think that they're just really creative people who are just like, have that idea of like, let's keep going and have that kind of 60s level.
I would say even
generation.
if it was something as cynical as let's just make loads of albums so there's loads of different albums for our fans to buy.
That's just being an artist.
To release 24 albums in 10 years or something.
Wild.
Like that is still, like if that was their aim, then that is still fucking really impressive.
Yeah.
But I do think, we spoke about Black Country New Road on the Patreon recently, and I said they were one of the most sort of creative bands that were going. And I hadn't really thought about King Gizzard, but they're definitely on the same playing field in terms of reinventing themselves, trying new things.
They've done 3 records.
Sure.
Phone me back in 10 years when they've done 50 records.
Well, this is what I mean, is that we said that on BCNR, and then I listened to this, and then I had a good look at King Gizzard's discography and was like,
this is wild.
It's crazy.
Because like
different types of funk albums and shit, and I mean, hang on, I have got that written down. They've released 5 albums a year at one point, 24 studio albums, 15 live albums, 5 compilations, 3 EPs, and a remix album.
Yeah, they had a record last year that we didn't do, a kind of end of year best records we didn't cover. We were going to do that episode, and then we just didn't. But my number 1 record last year was going to be Ice, Death, Planets, Lungs, Mushrooms, and Lava by King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard. Absolutely loved it. The song on it called Iron Lung. That is just crazy jazz rock.
Yeah.
Fusion. Delicious.
I would love to see these guys live. I think it would be a lot of fun, and I think it'd be really interesting. And having a little look at the King Giz Red Dit, I think they've got some fucking fucked up fans.
They've got some crazy fuckers who've listened to everything.
It reminds me a bit of The Fall. They've got big Fall heads who have listened to every single like fucking thing, and there's like thousands of them, and there's again sometimes different styles and different vibes, and it reminds me a bit of that in terms of like how prolific.
It's a bit more fun than that.
Oh yeah,
this is a good time.
That's it.
Marquis Smith's like having a really entertaining night with an old cokehead, and it's like, I'm glad I'm having this, but I don't want to ever do this again.
Yeah.
Whereas this is like just a big smoky house of boys with beards.
Hey, mate, how you doing?
All right, well, do you want to come in and do a big gravity bong on
You
my
want to
dick?
come smoke some bloody bobo, bro?
You want to honk on this bob? Yes, please. Yes.
Fucking dragons, you
Have
can't.
you ever thought about the fact that when people put petrol in a car, they're taking little bits of dragons and put them in cars? What if the dragons came back? You're like, yeah.
Yeah, man.
That's what this is. That's my interpretation of this record.
So I was listening to this podcast, and he was speaking about the creative process. I found it very interesting, but I found it kind of contradictory to his band's output. So he was saying that something he's learned over the last 10 years, Stu McKenzie this is that when you make something new, it's just going to suck for a while.
Yeah.
It's just going to be crap for a bit. And you've just got to push through it, and it's going to seem unoriginal. And I'm pretty sure he said the word hack.
Stock, as Metallica might say in 2001.
Yeah, like talking about writing riffs, going, oh, well, this just sounds like that, just sounds like that. And just the way that you have to push through that and find your own like little intricacies and what makes it interesting to you, which I found very true of writing stand-up as well.
But you might say, how are you capable of doing that when you are putting out 24 records in 10 years?
This is what I mean, why it's contradictory.
The way that they write a lot of their records is they will jam and jam and jam and jam and record all of it, and then they'll sit and listen to 10 hours of jamming and go, okay, that's good for this 3-minute song.
He learned how to mix.
Oh.
So he said sometimes he's sitting mixing like on his laptop on planes in between gigs, and that by doing all this themselves, he said there are a number of their albums that have cost $0 to make.
That's good, isn't it?
Yeah, they're very self-sufficient. Like they're doing their own thing.
As Mike Watt of the Minutemen once said, one of the
minute men,
tiny, smaller than me.
Yeah, tiny boys.
I said on stage the other night that I was 5'3", and a guy in the crowd went, "God damn." Sounded like he was scared I was going to run up his nose or something.
God damn.
Like a mouse run up an elephant's trunk.
Who's that tiny ass bitch on
God
stage?
That's scaring me, man.
That
Anyway,
little borrow
as
motherfucker.
Mike Watt of the Minute Men once said, we jam Econo. Him and Ian Mackay of Fugazi kind of invented the affordable DIY punk way of doing things where you're not doing a record label, you're just being a self-perpetuating engine.
Yeah. It's cool, man. And they were talking about the sort of clubs that he used to... There's like 2 rock clubs that he would go to in Geelong, where he
What
would...
were they called? Do you know the name of them?
Oh,
I love the name of a rock club.
I would have to look it up.
Sammy Dobson was at the Glasgow Glee, and she was like, "Oh, I went to the Cat House, the rock club here," and I was like, "Oh, okay, cool." And she was like, "Oh, we have a place in Newcastle. You know what the name of the one in Newcastle is?"
No.
It had a great name. Can't remember what it was.
Oh, that is the worst anecdote you've ever told on the podcast, and that is saying something.
It's up there. It's up there with the worst of them. Wait a minute. Newcastle Rock Club. Wait a minute. Come on, it's good. If you remembered it, it would have been a great conversation, but you don't know. Oh.
You're having to go at me for not knowing it. Come on, Chris. This is bad podcasting. You're just Googling Newcastle Rock Club.
Yeah.
And you can't find it?
No.
No. Fucking hell. This is after a technical problem as well.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so why don't you...
Fifties. It's not fifties.
Let's drop
Trillions? No.
No, let's maybe just drop this.
Okay. Right. Rise. I think it's called. No,
It's
it's not.
still reading.
Okay.
Yep. With 2 guys reviewing tattoos, we're gonna Google image search and then we'll choose if it's tattoo woohoo or tattoo boohoo. We're judging the ink, yeah, that's what we'll do. Full skulls or wingbacks. What is it?
Full schools or wingbats?
Full skulls. Oh, big skulls or wingbats. Winged bats.
Yes, wingbats.
Full sleeves or face tats. You pick a design. Is it bad or just fine? A dragon or pretentious or no? A dragon or a skull? It's the wrong way around. I did that.
Mm-hmm.
You can decide. We will decide if it's tattoo woohoo or tattoo hoo 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 hoo. Yeah. So I did it this week because Chris was on a train, so couldn't prepare the tattoos. So I have
Wasn't
prepared.
I was on a train? I was in London for 3 days.
And you didn't have access to the internet.
I didn't have my
internet.
laptop.
There's no internet in London. So, or on the train. Look, I've done it. It's okay. I've done it. So we're going to have a look at Stu Mackenzie's tattoo. You won't have seen this. So if we can get that up, dear producer, on our television screen.
Oh, hello.
So what we have here is on the sort of the on his right bicep, I guess, is it's a sort of jigsaw puzzle piece, I think.
Now, we are friends with autistic legend Russ Leslie, who
Yes.
has the tattoo of the jigsaw piece because that is, quite controversially, was the autistic logo.
The autistic logo.
Yes.
You've made a real meal of that, but
I haven't made a meal of anything. I made a meal of not remembering Newcastle's rock club, but I'm just saying, do you think he's autistic?
no, because I think that's a specific design that has certain colours with it, and I think this is just a jigsaw piece.
Oh, okay.
So I don't think that's the reason here. It kind of looks like a dumbbell as well.
It doesn't.
Okay.
Does it look like a dumbbell? It's like a Rorschach painting and you're like, oh, dumbbell.
You can't see a little how that would be something where your arm goes round. And
I can see how it's 2, swans shaking hands as well. You can see loads of stuff because it's a Rorschach jigsaw, you know what I mean? But that's what I see. 2 swans shaking hands. You see a dumbbell. Shows you how you're a meathead and I'm actually about, like, spiritualism.
Bestiality.
I think it's bestiality.
Why are you in such a bad mood all of a sudden?
Because I've been on a train for 5 hours.
Yeah.
I woke up at like 7 and you're trying to tell me that's a dumbbell because it's on a guy's arm.
Yeah. So that's
And that he's not an autistic legend.
actually a dumbbell on the arm in that particular area is a good idea because the stronger you get, the bigger it gets as well.
It's not how anything works. Is this what it's like to be the guest on
Yeah, it's
Tattoo
a
Woohoo?
horrible feature for the guest, isn't it? So what do you think? Is that a tattoo woohoo or a tattoo boohoo?
Well, if it's a dumbbell, it's a boohoo.
Mm.
If it's an autistic thing, it's a woohoo.
I don't think it's an autistic thing.
If it's a Rorschach painting of 2 flamingos touching each other's tits, woohoo.
Yes.
What do you think it is, Jigsaw?
I think
it's nice. It's quite understated for a guy who's in a band called King Wizard and the Gizzard Lizard.
That's it. That's it. His only tattoo, and it's
King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard, not King Wizard and the
tiny.
Lizard Gizzard.
I think is I do sometimes think if you're gonna get a tattoo, just get a fucking tattoo, and that is you've gone to the tattoo shop and you've got the smallest. Do you know when Rachel in Friends gets a fucking little mark on her as a tattoo?
I like it. I think it's kind of like, bro, I was in Geelong.
Or went to the Geelong tattoo dungeon.
I had a big brownie.
It always like I was doing a jigsaw puzzle, and
my friend said, "Hey, do you want me to do a stick and poke on you?" I said, "What the fuck is that?" And he just,
you don't stick and poke me. I'll stick and poke your mum.
That's fucked up, man.
I said, can I get two swans kissing, bro? It's gone Kiwi. It's gone Kiwi.
Zane Lowe.
I got the tattoo twice.
I remember your first tattoo, King Lizard and the Gizzard Wizard.
I think it's fine. It's just a bit pointless. It's like, come on, just.
I like it. It's very understated for a
home.
guy who's put out a record called PetroDragonic Apocalypse semicolon or Dawn of the Eternal Night colon and Annihilation of Planet Earth. The Beginning of Merciless Damnation is very understated.
Yeah.
Woohoo from me.
I would prefer a big fucking dragon tattoo. I think.
Can we go back to the dragon?
Just the general the cover art.
Yeah. Because
it is a sort of smug looking dragon with flames in the background. Pretty cool art.
Take a look and we judge the art and we decide if it is good or bad.
So we have a sort of a very classic sort of metal palette.
You would describe him as smug. I would say he was pensive.
He's got a little slight curl in his mouth that he's just.
I think that's just the shape of his head.
I think he is looking amongst the sort of industrial wasteland that is on fire behind him, and he's going, "Yeah, I did that."
What do you think the plot of this record is? It's an environmental concept record. What, from Motor Spirit to Supercell, Converge, Witchcraft, Gila Monster, Dragon, Flamethrower.
That's Chris is listing the name of the
track list.
The name of the track list, by the way.
What would you say? What do you think the plot is to this?
I think that the world has been overrun by dragons who have come to wreak revenge on humans for destroying their home, planet Earth.
It's interesting.
What's your take?
So my interpretation of this is the world has ended. It's the futuristic year 2012. The world is over.
Yeah, okay. The Olympics never happened.
The Olympics never happened, thank God.
The Queen never jumped out of a helicopter with James Bond.
Is that how she died?
That's how she died, yeah.
Wow. I don't watch the news. 2012, the fossil fuels have eradicated planet Earth environmentally. And a coven of witches have decided to get revenge. And they have summoned the dragons of years gone past because, as I kind of mentioned earlier, fossil fuels are made from the fossils of dragons. When you put petrol in a car, that is the churned up bodies of dragons long past. Prehistoric.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Dragons?
We are all stardust and petrol is dragon bones.
Right.
Right.
Okay.
So
that's King Gizzard's next album cover.
And it's interesting because when you get to the last song, Flamethrower, they start talking about ISS. And I was like, what? Islamic State?
Yeah.
Supremes?
Yeah. Islamic State Supremes?
No.
Diana Ross.
It's the International Space Station.
Yep.
So the dragons come back. They're supposed to save the world, but they are so fucking... Imagine if you'd found out your families had been churned up for this empire. And to be honest, they kind of have. No offense as an Irish guy.
Well, yeah, I was going to say. Yeah. Hitting a little close to home there, bro.
Well, yeah, So the dragons come back. They see what's happened to them. Shout out to the diary. They see what's happened to them. And then they decide to take over the planet by breathing fire, killing all the humans. And then they see that the last humans are up in the International Space Station. So all the dragons have killed the witches who've summoned them. They've killed, but all the millionaires are in the space station. So they fly up there and they fucking set
Can dragons
the space.
Fly in space?
In this album, yes.
Because, that doesn't, I don't think that works scientifically.
Interesting you say that because one of my other favourite metal albums is another concept record, an environmental heavy metal concept record called From Mars to Sirius, which is about the whales of planet Earth getting sick of the sea being polluted, so they learn how to fly and they go into space.
Right.
And they go to Mars.
Okay, we need to get to Mars.
We need to get to Mars. I'm a whale. It's not a blowhole. So, to me, From Mars to Sirius by Gojira.
That whale has
and
3 ditties.
PetroDragonic Apocalypse or Dawn of Eternal Night and Annihilation of Planet Earth and the Beginning of Merciless Damnation. They are sister records. So the concepts merge.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
Did you like this album?
I'll tell you this. It fucking rips from start to finish.
Yeah.
It's a good headbanger.
You're not a big metal guy. If you've been an enjoying album person, you've had System of a Down, you've had Iron Maiden, you've had a bad Metallica record and another bad Metallica record.
This felt close to Iron Maiden.
Yeah.
And it was also heavy Akadaka vibes, which makes sense with the Australian connection.
Yeah.
AC/DC.
Yeah.
Fucking Akadaka.
Akadaka.
I think it's great that Australians call AC/DC Akadaka.
I think it's brilliant. Glaswegian band, obviously.
Are they from Glasgow originally?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Angus Young was from Coatbridge or something.
Right, okay. But was it like he was like 2 months old or something?
Yeah. It's like Talking Heads where they're like, oh, he was from Dumbarton. It's like David Byrne wasn't from Dumbarton. He was from Dumbarton, but...
Yeah. It's like trying to claim it. I find stuff like it. It's like fucking Joe Biden pretending he's from Mayo.
It's like you being Irish, I mean, it's like made up shit. So...
Well, come on. My parents are Irish.
Yeah. And David Byrne's mum and dad were Scottish.
I don't know if they are. I don't know.
Okay.
That feels different to me. It feels different to what I'm saying about me. Because I'm not them. So, do you know what I mean? There's different.
Yeah, I feel that way a lot.
There are some lots of like, if you like shredding sort of long guitar riffs. There's a lot of that. Do you know what? Here's a comparison, which you may or may not disagree with.
Will I bristle?
Is The Darkness, right? Now, it doesn't have to... But in terms of, like, they are shredding and they do not take themselves that seriously and they're having fun.
Yeah.
I think it's not that much of a hop, skip and a jump from between the two. I think they're within the same...
They're both rock bands, I'll give you that.
Oh, come on, they're a little bit closer than just saying they're rock bands.
They're both hard rock bands, I'll give you that.
You know, they're fun...
This is like
creative.
A serious statement about the environment,
but
and nobody's talking about it.
But it's also this isn't supposed to be taken that seriously.
It's a genre exercise, you know.
Yeah,
you're not a genre guy. You don't like horror films. You don't like heavy metal. You know, you don't
what do you mean?
You're not a genre guy. You like serious pieces of art, literature,
right?
Films. You know,
but
you don't like.
They all fall within a genre, don't they?
Genre, it's a different thing. It's like, you know, within the creative industries, we call it genre, you know?
Right.
You obviously don't know about this.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Genre?
I know what
something's
genres
a horror
are.
film or like a crime film or something, that's genre.
Yeah, okay, but then how can you say I don't like genres?
Well, you don't like stuff like, you don't like pulpy camp stuff. You like a donkey, you know, a Radiohead album.
I like a donkey.
A donkey in Portugal, you know, who's beaten every day of his life, and then one day a peach rolls towards him.
You like a donkey?
Yeah.
Donkeys aren't a genre.
Well, it's a shorthand. That's not genre, that's serious art.
But there's loads of stuff I like that does fall into genres.
Like what?
Well, I mean, what do you mean? All art falls into genres. What the fuck are you talking about?
No, but I'm saying in art, criticism, and like within, like in literature, you have like literature, and then you have like, you know, fantasy gets put over here in a different bit, and horror gets put over here. They're not in the same bookshelves.
There's definitely some fantasy stuff I like. There's some sci-fi stuff that I love.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
No, think about it.
I just don't really...
Well, this is like a sci-fi record.
I'm just not really into like trashy horror. That's basically... That's the only example you've given that I'm like, yeah, that's...
No, but the sci-fi that you like is like, I like Dune. You know, you don't like...
Oh, I love Blade Runner.
You don't like Pitch Black.
I love...
You don't like Triple X.
I watched The Expanse recently. I thought that was good.
Yeah, that's serious. I'm talking about... You don't like shite stuff.
Right, now we'll go to the bottom of what you mean.
We've had this discussion. You don't like things that are like a wee bit bad.
Yeah. Which I think is not perfectly normal. Like, what? You don't like things that you don't think are good? How weird. Yeah, no, I only like things that I think are good.
I've had this discussion before.
What a fucking weird little boy you are.
I'm not a weird little boy. I'm a weird little man. And there's a difference.
There's a genre right there. Weird little man genre.
I have a unhinged... Like, this is probably my favourite album this year so far.
Wow. High praise. 5.4 from Pitchfork. What the fuck do they know? Those freaks.
I found a unhinged rate your music comment.
Okay.
And this is a longie. It's from July 4th, 2023.
Independence Day.
Independence Day.
There was fireworks going off outside this person's house.
Yeah.
Presumably.
So it's hard to judge music when in that environment, unless you have noise-cancelling headphones. Silly Puppy posted this. They said, honestly, this is one of those bands I don't really get the hype about. Sure, these guys have crafted some interesting psych prog that does indeed strike the right mood, but when it comes to the band's metal creds, I find them lacking in many departments. First of all, this, to my ears, basically, PetroDragonic sounds like a Motorhead tribute album as hinted at on the opening track Motor Spirit, which reveals its true intent with its track name. Almost as if, while the thrash metal guitar chugs are pleasant enough, the songwriting seems out of place in the context of a thrash metal experience, which honestly throws the entire thing off from me. The slower moments of muddled guitar riffs with keyboard accompaniments sound more authentic to my ears, as the band lacks the songwriting skills and drumming prowess to animate a true thrash metal attack. It honestly sounds like a non-metal band has taken its first steps into unfamiliar territory, not to mention a complete lack of virtuosity in terms of lead guitars, chord progression changes, and a complete failure of dynamic instrumental interplay. Yes, virtuosity matters in thrash metal. Since the 1980s, the world of thrash metal has produced countless mega bands ranging from Metallica and Megadeth to Slayer, Sepultura, Coroner, Sadus, Exodus, Forbidden, Overkill, Annihilator, and Vector, just to name a very few. And somehow King Gizzard fails to approach a competency even close to any of these great bands. What we get here is more of a proto-thrash approach in the vein of Motorhead, most of all with some aspects honing in on early Kill 'Em All Metallica and early 80s thrash metal before the genre got too sophisticated for many non-metal heads. Well, to each their own, but this band just doesn't pull off extreme metal to my liking.
So I don't think it was really unhinged. It was just a review, really.
I think the person who wrote that should kill themselves.
Wow, okay.
They don't get it.
Yeah.
And see the person who wrote the Pitchfork review?
Mm-hmm.
I'll leave it there.
Okay.
I'm not saying that people should kill themselves.
Yeah, you have said that already.
Well,
you said
arguably
it moments ago.
To each their own. But I think if you
It's a weird thing to say, oh, this just sounds like a band attempting a metal album. It's like, this is exactly what it is.
No, it's just a good metal album, you know. It's like, they just don't like it because they're idiots.
There's a bit of metal purity. I'm so glad that comedy doesn't have quite as many weird obsessive freaks as music does. Nowhere near as much as music does. There are weird obsessive freaks in comedy for sure, but the way that people like that analysis, that sort of like just word spaghetti, half fucking read half of fucking Pitchfork
this clowning
forever.
Is nowhere near the likes of Tony Locke.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
do you know what I mean?
bet people do say that though. Mackinlith Festival
I'm
or something.
fucking cooked and bombed for sure. All right, but like that's what I mean. It's just not as prevalent. You don't see like stuff like that.
It's because there's less people into it.
Yeah, so I'm glad. Imagine you fucking went home from your friend's show one day and went, I went to see Christopher MacArthur Boyd and he wasn't at all addressing the fucking original Alexei Shaw alternative comedy fucking boom. He just went and talked about fucking zoos. You'd be like, what? Leave me alone.
My zoo bit is pretty...
That's a good bit.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, this is probably the best record I've heard in a long time. I loved it so much.
That's cool, man. Do you think you got out of this record what you failed to get out of the last Metallica record?
Not even going for the same thing whatsoever, but yes. And also got out of this.
I think not going for the same thing whatsoever is I mean, again.
What I didn't get out the last metal record these did, I think this is way better than Infest the Rat's Nest as well. And like, I'm going to try and become a Gizzhead over the next 6 months. Right. I want to come back to King Gizzard. I want to listen to everything they've ever done. I want to get obsessive, you know.
If you go through their discography, there is some stuff that is like, you know, it does not sound like the same band.
Yeah.
Like
well, that Lungs, Lava, Mushrooms.
Yeah.
That doesn't sound like them. That was an interesting record because every song was in one of the different modes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're very, very interesting dudes. So you enjoyed the album? I thought it was, I think, listen, even as a non-metalhead, I think you can put this on and just fucking rock out to it. Do you know what I mean? It's not so, like, sometimes you put on metal and it's quite challenging, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I think this is
fun.
It's fun, and I think and I don't mean this in a negative way, it's broad enough that a casual just rock fan will be able. This would be like the heaviest thing that a casual rock fan could listen to before it gets to like, whoa, this is a bit much for me. Do you know what I mean? Because there is a bit of which is a bit.
Start doing kind of throat singing at a certain point.
Yeah.
Mo da si do, and it's really cool. And
Mo.
honestly, see the idea of them going, "Oh, this is just a Motorhead thing." I was like, "Oh, did Lemmy from Motorhead did he do Tongan throat singing? Oh, did he? You fucking dunce. You know nothing."
Converge. Yeah. Converge. It's a cool bit where they say converge about 100 times.
Yeah.
Converge.
Flamethrower.
They love saying the name of the song in the song.
Yeah.
Which more people should do.
See that Gila Monster song? Where they go, Gila, 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 Gila. Yeah. Woo! I mean, doesn't sound good when I do it.
Oh, yeah. No, you're not really selling it that well there. But it is...
I loved it.
It's a fun album. I enjoy it. I like the way it looks. I like King Giz and the Wiz Liz. I would love to see him live. I look forward to see what else they're going to do. I feel like a band this productive will every now and then just hit out with something really fucking shit hot and interesting.
As long as they're good, yeah.
Yeah, it seems like they've got a good thing going. You know, so we're
like there was a band called Frankie Cosmos. And their big thing was
Frankie Cosmos,
and they would put up a new album every month, and it was just like demos, and then they would put out a proper album, and it was like the best songs from the, you know, wasn't good really. The albums were good, but the demo stuff was pretty shit, to be honest with you. Nepo Baby stuff as well. What are you putting on the playlist this week? Every week we put 2 songs a piece on the Enjoy an Album playlist, as updated by G Howlett and Mega Slippers.
I think I'm going to put on Dragon. Yeah.
Dragon.
Do you know who else that reminds me of? Shania Twain. She loves to speak talk, the name of the song in the song.
The lyrics are fucking class in this, man. It's always like witchcraft and
yeah. It just seems so fun. It just seems like, right, we're writing a metal album, so what the fuck are we gonna? Let's just like fuck around.
If you like Mastodon, you'll love this. I think.
If you like masturbating, then you will gonna fucking love this.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, on vinyl, there's a 14-minute bonus track called "Dawn of Eternal Flame" at the end of it.
That's cool.
Yeah. I want to get the vinyl.
Bonus tracks on vinyl.
Bob Shop Test. You see this in a record shop for 20 quid. You're not a metal guy. You buying it?
Is it like heavyweight black vinyl, or is it a special edition?
It's black, but there's a nice design in the. If you fold it out, it's like a nice design.
I wouldn't be able to see that because it'd be wrapped in cellophane. So
but you would, you know, it's there.
I know it's there. Someone's told me.
Someone went.
Whoa! Really? Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna get there. Do you know what? I don't have enough like heavy rock really in my vinyl collection, so this would be a good. And do you know what? As well, I fucking love the album art. I think it's cool as fuck.
Really good.
George, the producer beforehand, told me it was his least favorite King Giz album art.
Ever.
Not to put you on blast on the pod, but yeah, it's the same dude who does.
Because it's too goofy. You just don't like it.
Just don't like it.
It's a bit obvious. Not pleasing to your eye. I want to kiss this guy.
You want to kiss that smug lizard?
I want to kiss him.
Yeah.
I don't know what it
He's
is.
got the Lord of the Ring eye. The Eye of Sauron.
Yeah.
What song are you going to put on the playlist?
Oh, it's got to be Motor Spirit, man.
Motor
Just
Spirit.
rock and roll straight away. The last song, actually, I'm going to put on Flamethrower because it's like starts off thrash and then like people are saying this is just a straightforward metal album. It gets into an electronic fucking dubby jam sesh with like bongos and shit and kalimbas at the end of it. And I'm like, these cunts didn't get to the end of the record.
Yeah.
They're just fucking morons. Pitchfork, shove up your dick hole, man.
Yeah.
Or your fanny hole.
Dependent. And which second song would you like to add to the playlist?
Oh, I think I've already put on enough Gojira in terms of environmental metal. And I think I've put on a bit of Mastodon. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stick on another one of my King Giz fave songs. I'm going to stick on Iron Lung.
That's funny because I'm also going to put on a King Giz song. It is Rattlesnake.
Oh, yeah.
Which I said I was on my running playlist. I went running to this yesterday. Mm-hmm. Holy shit, it's such a good running album. Yeah, man. Big fucking dragon chasing you, biting your bum. You run fast as fuck. The world's ending. You're running away from big fiery dragon trying to eat your ass. Not in a good way.
Or you are the dragon.
Not in my scenario. Chasing other runners.
Yeah.
Fucking blowing fire on their
You got
doggies.
fire coming out your bum hole these days, no mind out your mouth.
I haven't had fire coming out my bum hole in a very long time. I can't eat spicy stuff.
Love to hear it.
I have lots of
Love
other
to hear
stuff
it.
coming out of there.
Yeah.
You know.
Blood. Anyway,
When is there going to be a metal album about inflammatory bowel disease? That's what I want to know.
we need to do Rain in Blood by Slayer, actually.
Is that what it's about?
Let's find out.
It's a...
Ring of Fire by Johnny Cash as well. We could do that record if you want.
Thank you so much for listening to this episode. Thank you, Christopher, for being great co-host.
Liam, I'm so glad your skin's looking brilliant these days.
Thanks.
And
Thank you very
you're
much.
dealing with your
Thank
chronic
you.
illness very well. And we are having such a good laugh.
Big shout out to Chris Thorburn for the edit, and
Shout out to George.
shout out to George, the producer, and shout out to you, the beautiful listener who keeps the world spinning round.
Worlds keep spinning. World always check it out.
Have a great week.
Peace and love in the new millennium.
Bye.